Floridians will vote on recreational marijuana in November after the Florida Supreme Court signed off Monday on ballot language for a proposed constitutional amendment. The amendment would permit non-medical marijuana use and would remove criminal or civil penalties for adults over 21 who possess and use up to 3 ounces of pot for personal use. At least 60% of Floridians must approve it to become law. Florida voters passed the state's medical marijuana statute with 71% of the vote in 2016. Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody had challenged the proposed amendment, arguing the ballot summary would mislead voters because it states that marijuana would be legal when it is illegal federally. But in a 5-2 decision, the conservative Supreme Court ruled that the language wasn't misleading. The ballot initiative summary clearly states that the amendment legalizes adult personal possession and use of marijuana as a matter of Florida law, wrote the court's majority, which included Justices Charles Kennedy, Jorge Labarga, and John Curiel. Joining the majority were Carlos Muniz and Jamie Groshans, who filed their own opinions. Justices telegraphed part of the ruling during arguments over the amendment in November. Kennedy said then he was baffled by the state's argument about the language being misleading, and other justices were similarly skeptical of the state's push against the amendment. However, Justices Rena Francis and Meredith Sasso wrote in separate dissenting opinions published Monday that they agreed the language would be misleading. Governor Ron DeSantis appointed 5 justices, Curiel, Francis, Groshans, Muniz, and Sasso, now on the court. More than 1 million Florida voters have signed petitions in support of the recreational marijuana initiative led by the group Smart and Safe Florida. The marijuana company Trulieve is almost solely responsible for the nearly $40 million the group had raised as of the end of December. We are thankful that the court has correctly ruled the ballot initiative and summary language meets the standards for single subject and clarity. We look forward to supporting this campaign as it heads to the ballot this fall, Trulieve CEO Kim Rivers said in a statement Monday. Moody criticized Trulieve in an August brief, writing, "In its pursuit of a larger customer base and greater profits, Trulieve has invited millions of Floridians to join it in reckless violation of federal criminal law." DeSantis has also opposed the amendment. In March, he said that the amendment was incredibly broad and said that people being able to smoke pot anywhere could pose a quality of life issue. If you're saying you can't regulate it or you can't limit it, which that's how I read that could be a big problem, he said. John Bash, an attorney for the group sponsoring the amendment, said the amendment has language that would allow the legislature to limit public consumption just like Florida does for tobacco. 24 states allow the use of recreational marijuana, including Ohio, whose voters approved it with 57% in favor last year. If voters support the Florida amendment, it will go into effect 6 months after the election. At that point, Floridians who are 21 and older would be able to purchase marijuana products at already existing and licensed medical marijuana distributors. Florida currently has 25 qualified treatment centers that operate more than 600 dispensaries statewide. The amendment would also open the door for the Florida legislature to license other entities that aren't medical marijuana treatment centers to cultivate, process, sell, and distribute marijuana products.